Let's talk about using intermittent fasting to help with menopause weight gain. So weight gain is so common in menopause. Women at the age of 40 and beyond typically add a few extra pounds to their frame. And this frustrating and annoying symptom actually has some health consequences as well. So controlling weight gain is vital. Intermittent fasting is a type of cyclical eating pattern, if you will, that has a number of benefits. People use it for lots of different reasons. For example, the health reasons include weight control, of course, but also decreasing inflammation or boosting energy and cognitive function. It's also used for religious purposes as well. So people fast sometimes during Lent in Christianity or in Ramadan in Islamic traditions. So there's a lot of different ways people can do intermittent fasting. And what's different from intermittent fasting as opposed to other diets is that intermittent fasting controls when you eat, not necessarily what you eat. So let's take a look at the different ways you can do intermittent fasting. In general, we all fast at some point throughout the day. Most of us fast overnight while we sleep. So one of the easiest patterns, if you will, of intermittent fasting is actually just overnight fasting. So a lot of people try to fast for at least 12 hours overnight. So they have their last meal at 7 p.m. and they don't eat again until 7 a.m. the next morning. So other people do a little bit longer stretch of fasting. So there's the 16-8 method. You fast for 16 hours and then you can eat during an 8-hour window. Women are generally better suited if they fast between 13 and 14 hours, whereas men are usually a little more successful at 16 hours. Other people do alternate day fasting. So there's the 5-2 method where you fast for 5 days of you fast for 2 days of the week and you eat just normally during the other 5 days. These 2 days are not necessarily back to back. So a lot of people will fast, say, on a Tuesday and a Friday and then just eat regularly on the other 5 days. People also do the alternate day method where they fast one day, they eat regularly the next day. As you can see, there's a lot of variety and a lot of room for tailoring this type of fat or diet to your needs. So let's talk about weight gain in menopause for a minute. We know that we add a couple extra pounds to our frame around age 40. And there's a lot of reasons why that could be, and it's actually highly debatable. But one of the theories is that a woman's metabolism starts to slow once her estrogen levels start to fall. So a slower metabolism will definitely add weight to your frame, even if your diet has not changed. Women also notice that fat is stored in different areas of their body once they reach perimenopause. So before perimenopause, you may have noticed if you had a couple extra pounds, they were probably sitting on your buttocks and your hips. Whereas now in perimenopause and menopause and beyond, any extra weight is usually added to your abdomen and your waistline. Now, when you add weight to those areas, it can cause a number of issues. It can increase your risk for hypertension, heart disease, high cholesterol, and it also increases your risk for type 2 diabetes and insulin resistance. So that's why even though weight gain is very common in perimenopause and menopause, it's really important to get a grip on weight gain and try to curb it as best as possible for your long-term health. So the question, is intermittent fasting a good idea for women to control weight gain in menopause? And the answer is it can be, but it really depends on who you are and your medical history. So, for example, women with a history of eating disorders need to be extremely careful when doing a diet like intermittent fasting. When you engage in this type of diet, it can sometimes bring to surface old eating behaviors that can become unhealthy. Also, women need to consider the importance of nutrients, especially as their bodies start to have more difficulty maintaining the organs they have. So I'm talking primarily about calcium and vitamin D and the risk for osteoporosis after a woman reaches menopause. If you decide to do any type of diet, but intermittent fasting in particular, you need to make sure that you're meeting your minimum daily requirements for your essential nutrients like calcium and vitamin D to ward off osteoporosis and maintain strong bones. If you're interested in doing intermittent fasting, research the heck out of it. Find out as much as you can about different types of diets, how people do it, and what you need to be aware of. But most importantly, make sure to talk to your doctor, because if you have any underlying health conditions or any past medical issues, it's really important to make sure that you're not putting yourself and your health at risk.